Hey, what's going on, everybody? Greg here. I want to talk about the movie Titanic in this video. Titanic came out in 1997, a long time ago. I was 7 at that age, or at that year, I was 7 years old. And this movie, I want to get into who stars in this movie. This movie stars Leonardo DiCaprio. He plays Jack Dawson, and it also stars Kate Winslet, and she plays Rose DeWitt Bukater, or however you pronounce that name. But those are the two stars of this movie. I want to talk about the description of this movie, the plot. And the plot of Titanic goes as so. A 17-year-old aristocrat falls in love with a kind but poor artist aboard the luxurious, ill-fated RMS Titanic. That's what this movie's about. It's a very short plot description of what it's about, but I love this movie, guys. This movie is fantastic. This movie is tear-jerking, and this film also, I don't know how to explain it so much, how to review it, except for I just want to say that this movie, it starts off with Jack, and Jack wins. It doesn't start off with Jack. Actually, it starts off with this character who's like an underwater, like, searcher of marine life and, all that stuff, all like broken down ships and everything that's underwater. But this guy, he has his heart set on finding the blue diamond, the heart of the sea or the heart of the ocean. And so he's searching down underwater in the Atlantic Ocean, and he finds the ruins of the Titanic that sank back in, 1902, I believe it was, April 15th, 1902. And he finds the Titanic, and while he's searching for this blue heart, he comes across this pencil drawing that he has to, spray all the nasty sea crud off of it. And it turns out to be a woman posing naked who's wearing nothing but that necklace that he's looking for, the heart of the ocean. And it's worn by Rose. And then this old woman who sees the picture, she goes, "Oh my gosh, that's me. I haven't seen that picture since 1912. That's when it sank." And so she gets a hold of this guy, and the guy who found that picture, he's like, "All right, fly in this old woman and see if that's actually the woman from the drawing." And so she comes down and she starts talking to the guy, and the guy is like, "Man, what if this old bat is full of crap? What if she's lying?" And they're like, "Well, here's an opportunity to tell your story. Let's see, let's see what you got. Let's see if you're real, right?" And so she starts telling the story, and it goes back in time when she was aboard the Titanic, and she's a really prissy, rich girl who's grown up rich, and she ends up meeting this guy Jack, who wins tickets, luckily, to the Titanic, in, I believe it's just like a poker game, and or 21, I don't know what they play, but he won these tickets, and then he goes on the ship, and somehow they both meet, and they fall madly in love, and they want to be together. And throughout their journey so far on this Titanic, one night, late in the morning, sometime at 2 in the morning, they hit an iceberg. I mean, this is, I want to say no spoilers, but I mean, it's Titanic. Everybody knows the spoilers to this movie. And it hits the iceberg, and then the ship goes down, and then it's just an incredible journey that they have to get through in order to hopefully survive or not survive. Who knows? We'll find out in the movie. But I want to get into some flaws about this movie, some things I wasn't too sure about, some gripes. And there's not much. I really don't have many gripes about this movie. The only thing that sucks is sometimes they Hollywoodize a little bit too much. I'm not going to get into scenes in case for some reason you have not seen Titanic, and in that case you need to hurry up and go see Titanic. But some things that I really liked about it is that it really, if you're a guy, you're a gal, it really pulls on your heartstrings. And it really just makes you feel like you're in the story. And you feel for each one of these characters. And this movie is wonderfully acted, especially by Leonardo DiCaprio. He does a fantastic job, and he was just a young buck when he recorded this movie. But he did some amazing acting. Kate Winslet, she doesn't stand to par to Jack or Leonardo DiCaprio, but she does a really good job as well. When she's crying, when she's happy, when she's mad, all her emotions that she portrays, I think she does a fantastic job. I think it's really realistic, and they both work really well off of each other. Ultimately, this movie's got some sad parts. This movie's got some really funny parts, and it has some intense, on the edge of your seat parts in the movie, and it's very suspenseful. I enjoy it a lot. I think it's a great story. If I'm going to rate Titanic out of 5 stars, I got to give it maybe a 4.5 out of 5, just because I said sometimes they Hollywoodized it, and then there's certain parts in the beginning that I didn't care too much for, and that's mainly just involving the guy who's mainly searching for the heart of the ocean. Sometimes his story isn't, I don't really care too much about it, but other than that, I thought it was really, really good. So I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I would really appreciate if you commented below. Tell me what you would rate Titanic, how it made you feel, what age you were when you first saw it, and just what you thought about this video review. Please subscribe if you will. That would be amazing. I would really appreciate that. And also, if you're a movie lover just the way I am, I also host a movie review podcast called Moviemen. One word. You can find it on iTunes, you can find it on Google Play, and all those other sort of podcast platforms. So please go to that as well and go check that out and download. I would really appreciate that. Also, remember, when you go home, watch a movie, man.